So I met plenty of Silicon Valley founders of our time. And one of them in particular, he also was raised with classical music training. And he would deliberately have a keyboard by his bedroom and then use it as a way to remind him not to get into music because he thinks that that's a distraction.
Uh-huh.
So I'm curious to know. So from someone like you, who is a successful entrepreneur and also a very successful musician, who are able to merge the two together, what would you say to this entrepreneur who's listening, who thinks music is a distraction?
I would encourage him or her to come to a Mindtravel experience because for me, what this music offers, and again, I wouldn't classify all music in this category. There's lots of different kinds of music, just like there's a lot of different kinds of food, and not all food is good for you, right?
Mm-hmm,
We eat junk food every day. We know the effect of that on our health. If we consume and listen to certain kind of music that may not be fulfilling to us, it has a similar effect of distracting us. And so I think it, of course, depends on the kind of music and the intention of the listening. But for me, life is such a noisy place. I mean that literally and metaphorically. There's so much distraction. There's so much pulling us in different directions. And it's also just a physically noisy place, especially if we live in cities. So for me, the music is that grounding anchor to what's important so that I could actually reduce the noise and find the music through the noise. And again, I mean that literally and metaphorically. When you're running a company, it's all about distraction management. You got to really anticipate and filter what's important, what's not important, what requires your resources, what doesn't, where to invest your resources, where to invest your time, how to prioritize. These are all critical decisions an entrepreneur makes because there's not unlimited resources in all those areas. So you have to really pick and choose. That means you have to separate the signal from the noise. And how do you do that? There's approaching it in the right frame of mind is key. And I find that when I'm grounded in the music, I'm in touch with that kind of deepest drive of myself, right?
mm,
That passion that's driving the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing in the first place.
mm,
I'm
mm, mm,
connecting with that part of myself.
mm,
And
mm.
when you're operating from that truest part of yourself, then the decisions you make will ripple out based on that frame of reference. If you're too easily distracted from other things and pulled in one influential direction or another, you may not be making choices from the right frame of mind, which is that truest part of you that chose to set that course in action to begin with. That part of you that hit that first domino to get the website.com, to start the name, and just to build what you're building. There was some purity in that. There was some beauty in that, innocence in that. It was about creativity and imagination and making a difference and creating a product or a service that was valuable, that resonated with you and your values. That was probably part of it, whether you were really aware of it or not. But we can easily get distracted, especially when there's investment and investors and shareholders and customers pulling you in different directions with the product. It's easy to get off course. And so tapping back in to that core purity and the Mindtravel music, for me and for many others, as you mentioned, it really just snaps you right back to that pure place of self.